everyone, welcome back to my channel, Diana and the Book Hunt. Today is a very exciting day for me because I get to talk about some predictions. I've kind of got my magic 8 ball here in front of me, imaginary one obviously, where I'm going to be looking through books that I believe are going to end up in the Goodreads Choice Awards, specifically for the romance category because I'm mainly a romance reader. And I did this video last year where I tried to predict what is going to happen with the Goodreads Choice Awards in the romance category, and I kind of did pretty well. I think I guessed most of the main contenders, and I believe that I even got most of the top 10. So I'm very curious to see what will happen this year, to see if I have my predictions right. And I'm also very excited to talk about a couple of the books because those were really favorites of mine as well. I'm going to kind of stick to the same format of how I did it last year, of showing you the top 20 predictions, the top 10, the winner, my wish list, so books that I hope that will be on there but likely won't end up on there, but who knows. And then also I'll tell you if the prediction for the winner is also my favorite. So I have these, I think 35 books, I think 36 books that I have kind of as predictions, and I kind of didn't really prepare myself for kind of structuring because I kind of wanted to discuss the books as I go. So this is going to be me rambling about my predictions. So my understanding of how it works, I'm not sure whether I have like the best explanation for how the Goodreads Choice Awards nominees are chosen, but my understanding is that the book needs to be at least a 3.5-star rating on Goodreads, and typically it will be romances that are traditionally published. One with illustrated covers are preferred, as far as I understood from booktubers like Lacey and Jess from Peace Love Books. And also kind of the ratings that have been, the amount of ratings that were logged on to the Goodreads site will definitely determine the probability of the book ending up in the top 20. And also what I understood is that an author can have multiple entries as long as they're not from the same series. So if an author has published multiple works within 1 year and they're not within the same series, they can get nominated. So I've got a couple of books here that are definitely within a series, so I'm going to discuss which ones I think are likely to be included in the Goodreads Choice Awards. And I'm just going to go ahead and, oh, one more thing. So because the Goodreads Choice Awards get announced in November of each year, that means that December releases are not included in that year's respective awards. So they're included in the next year. So a couple of the books that are on here have released either in late November or December of 2022. And that's why they're on this list. And actually the first one that I'm going to talk about is one that released last year and it's a favorite of mine. But let me just go ahead and screen record first so I can show you all of the books and the tier ranking program that I have here set up. Like I mentioned, we've got the top 20, top 10 winner and the wish list. And we've got all of our titles here. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about really shortly about each of the books, whether I've read them or not, whether I like them or not, and what I think about them being included in the Choice Awards. So let's go ahead and dive in. I've got the first book, like I mentioned, one that was released in 2022. It's Kennedy Ryan's Before I Let Go. It's one of my favorite books by Kennedy Ryan. I absolutely love the marriage in trouble, second chance trope. And this book just did it for me. I absolutely loved it. And if I check on the ratings for this book, it was actually one where I'm not sure that it was traditionally published or indie published. By the way, I'm very bad at researching this, whether it's indie published or traditionally published, so don't quote me on anything that I say about that. But it has a 4.38 ranking in Goodreads, and it has just shy of 35,000 ratings that are posted on Goodreads. So while it does have a decent amount of ratings, I don't believe that it will end up in the top 20 because Kennedy Ryan typically does not get nominated for some reason or other, maybe because she publishes independently, I'm not sure, but this is one of my wish list books because if she does end up on there, I'm definitely going to be considering voting for it because it was one of my favorite reads of last year. And then we've got a book by Amy Lee. I've been seeing this book, X's and O's, on many so occasions on Bookstagram, and I think that it does also have a decent amount of ratings. Oh, it's 24,000 and it has 3.77. I think I'm going to leave it off for now. I'm not going to put it in the top 20 because there's definitely books on here that have many more ratings and that have been more popular than this one. I'm going to see later on when I revise my entries whether I'm going to include it, but for now I'm going to leave it off. Now, Lauren Asher's Final Offer, this is book 3 of her Dreamland Billionaire series, and it was not, I think, as popular as Terms and Conditions, but it's definitely one that has a chance of making it on there because it was very well received. It's a chunky book, so I don't think many people read it right away, and maybe it will gain more popularity also later on, I'm not sure, but this book I definitely think is a contender. Now, Forget Me Not is one of my favorite books of this year. It's a debut novel by Julie Soto. She has been writing fan fiction, but this is really her true first. I think it's independently published book. I'm not sure, but again, don't quote me on it. It is a wish list book for me because I don't think it will end up in the top 20 because it just doesn't have as much of a hype as some of the books on this list. It has only about, let me see, 18,000 ratings. It does have 4.08 as a rating on Goodreads, so it's quite well loved by the people who have read it, including myself, but I just don't think it will end up in the top 20, which would make me sad. It would make me really happy if I see it on there, but yeah, I definitely think it deserves recognition. Now, Giorgio Along, I found this book also on, like, it had its moment when it released. I saw it here and there, and I think it also has a decent rating on Goodreads, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check. The book has 3.82 and it has 42,000 ratings, so I do think it might get on there, so I'm just going to tentatively place it in the top 20 and see whether there's going to be others that might be more popular. Now, Hail Mary by Candy Steiner. I love Candy Steiner. I haven't read this series yet, but I do know that a lot of my like favorite booktubers have loved this series, and especially this one I think is also well received. So I do hope that she gets on there, but I don't think she will. So I'm going to put it in wish list because I just wish it for her that she does get nominated because it's quite a recognition, but I just don't think she'll make it in respect of how many books we have on here that are just more popular. Then we've got Emily Henry's Happy Place. Obviously, Emily Henry won last year with Booklovers, so it's 100% certain that she's going to get nominated this year as well. Highly likely she will also potentially be the winner, but let's wait and see. So yeah, Happy Place is definitely on there. I did read this book. I gave it 5 stars. There have been some mixed reviews on this book because I feel like people have really high expectations when it comes to Emily Henry's books because she did win, I think twice now, with People We Meet on Vacation and now Booklovers. So there's quite high expectations when it comes to her books, and I understand that people sometimes will get hyped up on reading something by Emily Henry and then get disappointed. But for me, this book was really special because it had the type of relationships and the type of discussions that I love within life. So it was really special to me and I really loved it. So I do recommend it, first of all, but I also think that it deserves to be on here. So Catherine Center was nominated last year for The Bodyguard. So I definitely think if we go off on how popular she is, and typically I think let me see here, it's Hello Stranger. She has about 45,000 ratings, 4.01. I definitely think she has a chance of being nominated again. And it was also very well received. Not as well received as The Bodyguard, but it still is quite loved by quite a few of the booktubers that I follow. So I think this might make it. And then we've got Jasperville by Devney Perry. So this is part of a series. I haven't read the series and I honestly don't know much about it, but seeing as there's quite a few books that I think will end up on the list that are more popular than this one, I'm going to leave it off for now. Then we've got Anna Huang's King of Wrath. This is the first book within her new series. It's a billionaire series that is also well received. She has about 188,000 ratings actually, and 4.07 for this book. So I definitely think it will end up on here. And it's quite a popular series. Everyone has been loving it. So I definitely think she deserves to be on that list. And then the next one is Kiss Her Once for Me. So this book actually released last year, just around the holiday season. It's a sapphic romance around the Christmas period, and I really liked it. I read it and I gave it 4 stars. But I think that holiday romances typically don't get nominated. I'm not sure whether it's kind of like a fluke thing or whether it's intentionally so that they don't get nominated, but this one I think won't make it simply because it's a holiday romance. Otherwise it does have a good rating. It was well received and it has a lot of ratings, but I don't think it will make it. Next up, we've got Elizabeth O'Rourke, The Summer We Fell. Now this book, I think Elizabeth O'Rourke really made an impression with Waking Olivia. And she really had a moment where a lot of booktubers were talking about the books that she released. And this one actually also was widely read, I think, by a lot of booktubers. It was also recommended here and there. There were some mixed reviews, but I don't think it will make it because it's just not as wildly popular as the other books on this list. So I'm going to leave it off for now. Now, we've got Ali Hazelwood with Love Theoretically. This is definitely a contender for the prize, actually, because Ali Hazelwood did so well with The Love Hypothesis and also Love on the Brain. She was, I think, in spot 2 and then spot 3 in the respective years that those books were nominated. So she definitely has a wide following, and I actually also love this book. I gave it 5 stars, so I definitely wouldn't be mad if she takes the prize on this one. Now we've got Carly Fortune's Meet Me at the Lake. This is the second book following, I don't know what the first one was called, but it was really popular, the first one, and this one is not as popular as the first one, but it was also not as well received as the first one. So I do think the book will probably get nominated because it does have a lot of ratings, but I don't think it will take the prize. So let's put it in top 20 and see what will happen with the rest of the books. Now, Sarah Adams has Practice Makes Perfect. This is a second book within a companion series, and the first one wasn't, I think, as well or as read as much. But this one, I think, really got popular, I think, because of Book Talk and Bookstagram. So it has a lot of ratings and it has a decent, let me see, Practice Makes Perfect. Yeah, it has 70,000 ratings and it has a 4.06 rating. So I definitely think it has a chance of making it on here. So I'm going to put it into the top 20. Now, Megan Quinn has a couple of releases, or had a couple of releases this year, and this one, Right Man, Right Time, had the most ratings. That's why I put it on here, but I'm going to leave it off for the moment because I don't think we'll have space to have her on here, seeing as there's quite a few books that I think will make it instead of this one. So I'm just going to leave it off for this time. And I actually missed on Powerless, which I think will be the book that is nominated by Elsie Silver, because she did have 3 releases within the same series of this year. She had Powerless, Reckless, and Hopeless. So I'm just going to have Powerless on there because it has the most reviews, because it's normal. It released in February, I believe. So it has the most ratings, the most people read it because they had more time. And yeah, Elsie Silver has had her, she's been having her moment throughout the whole year, actually, because this series just blew up through the roof with Flawless and Heartless last year, and then these 3 books this year. And I do believe she deserves the recognition because she writes in such an addictive way. I think everyone who picks up any of the books will have something for them. So I do appreciate her writing style, and I do appreciate the series overall. So I would love to see her on this list. And then we've got a book that I didn't read and that I've actually heard nothing but mixed things about. I wouldn't say bad things, but a lot of people didn't love this book. But because it was so popular for some reason, there's a lot of ratings on this book. I think Romantic Comedy has 120,000 ratings. It has 3.7 as a rating, but I think it will get nominated because typically it's really weird. Some books just get nominated without any logic behind them, and I don't know who reads these books, but I don't think that it's a very well received book. But anyway, it has a lot of ratings, so I'm gonna put it on here. Then we've got The Long Game by Elena Armas. So the thing is with Elena Armas, she had quite her moment with The Spanish Love Deception. It was so wildly popular 2-3 years ago when it released. And then the second book that she released, The American Love Experiment, was nominated last year when it released, but it didn't do very well. And The Long Game just recently released in September, so it doesn't have a lot of ratings. And I did hear a lot of mixed things about this book. I do think that it will get nominated because she's been hyped up as a book talk, Instagram author, so it might get nominated. I'm going to leave it on here for the moment, and then we'll count and see whether it will make it or not. So the next one is Lynn Painter's The Love Wager. I have read a couple of Lynn Painter's books, but I think I've read mostly the young adult love stories that she has released. This one I think is actually an adult romance, and it does have a decent amount of ratings. So I think it might make it, specifically because it fits the bill for the type of romances that are nominated typically for these awards, which is traditionally published, not a lot of spice, and it has the cute illustrated cover, and I think it will definitely have a chance of getting nominated, so I'm going to put it on there. How many do we have now? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, so 8 more books. All right, so we've got the next one up, The Right Move. So Liz Tomford, also very much like Elsie Silver, has blown through the roof in the past, let's say 12 months. So she released Mile High and The Right Move and Caught Up within the same series. Mile High was released in 2022, and then The Right Move was released in February of this year. So because Caught Up is within the same series, obviously both of the books cannot get nominated, and because The Right Move was released in February, I think it has the biggest chance of getting nominated, and I definitely think she'll be on here because this book just made it everywhere. And I think it also has, let me see, so we've got The Right Move has 4.47. This is one of the highest ratings that we have on this list, and it has almost 120,000 ratings on Goodreads, so I definitely think she'll be on there. And it was a favorite book of mine actually of this year. I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars, and it will definitely end up in my top 10, so I won't be mad if she takes the prize, honestly. So yeah, I love that for her, and I would love if she wins. The next one is Ashley Poston's The 7-Year Slip. This was also a 5-star read for me. I absolutely love the writing style of this author. There is always a kind of a pinch of magic within her books, a bit of magical realism, and I love that within, it kind of makes for a bit of a cozy and mysterious setting. So the 7-Year Slip, I think, will definitely make it because it has the makings of exactly the type of book that also gets nominated typically. And I think that Dead Romantics last year was also nominated, so I definitely hope that the 7-Year Slip will also make it this year. Next one up, we've got Astrid Barker Doesn't Fail. This is the 3rd book within this series by this author, and I haven't read any of the books, but they all got nominated in the past, so I highly suspect that it will get nominated again. Let me just check. How many ratings does it have? 29,000, 4.08. chances are it will get nominated because typically the top 20 is not very diverse. There is no diversity when it comes to any kind of different kind of romances. There are typically no BIPOC authors. There's also very little representation for LGBTQ plus books, so typically we'll get one or two that are included. And because we had last year and the year before the first two books within this installment, I suspect that just to be inclusive they might include this one as well. That sounds really bad when I say it, but it's kind of bad. So I think it's high time that they start listening to people talking about their nominations, that they need to do something about being more inclusive. So that's just my 2 cents on here. So the next one up is Katharina Mora, The Temporary Wife. This is the book by Katharina Mora that released this year that was the most popular. That's why I've put it on here, because she does have other books, and I think some of them are within one series. She has 2 series, I think, but this one is the one that was most popular, and I think she might make it. So I'm just going to put it on here and then see whether I'm going to take it off later. But this author, I do have to say that I'm quite well connected. Well connected. I'm not well connected, but I'm connected with her because she grew up in the Netherlands. I think she was born in the Netherlands. So when I found out that she was born in the Netherlands, I was like, okay, I'm going to read your book. So I've read 2 books by this author. I did like them, and I'm going to continue on reading other books by this author. But she's also so beautiful. She's like a little doll, and I love her, how she looks. And yeah, I do wish for her that she gets nominated, because it would be a great recognition for someone who just recently blew up on the scene. So yeah. Now, the next one is Christina Lauren. This author duo always gets nominated whenever they have a new release, so I wouldn't be surprised if The True Love Experiment makes it on here. And I actually did love this book. I gave it 4.5 stars, and I think if it does get nominated, it does deserve to be nominated, because it's really one of their better ones. So yeah, I would like to see it on there. Next up, we've got Things We Hide from the Light and Things We Left Behind. Those are within the same series by Lucy Score, so one of them will get nominated for sure, and I think it will be the first one, because obviously it released earlier on in the year, so there's more ratings for this one. And actually it has like a crazy amount, 232,000 ratings, so it wouldn't be a surprise if it makes it on here. Now, Twisted by Emily McIntyre. I really hope that she gets nominated, because most of the bookish world knows about the situation that Emily McIntyre is in. She has stage 4 breast cancer. She has been battling this horrible disease, and she has been posting a lot of updates on her Instagram, so everyone who follows her knows her struggles. And I really hope that the community supports her by nominating her and showing some wide love and appreciation for how she has been battling this beast of a disease, and how she has kept on working throughout the whole period. She has been so strong, and everyone has shown such a support for her, and I really hope that she makes it on here. So I'm going to put it as a wish list entry. Another wish list entry, I haven't read this book, but I love Chloe Lee, so I'm just going to put it as a wish list entry on here, to Wrongs Make a Right, because she did release the latest book within the Berkman Brothers series as well within this year, but it wasn't as widely popular as this one. So I have put this one on here instead of the Berkman Brothers book, although I did really love the Berkman Brothers book. So yeah, I'm just going to put it as a wish list, just to as a hope that she gets recognized, because she does representation so well within her books, and she definitely deserves to be put in the spotlight. Tessa Bailey released Unfortunately Yours this year, and Tessa Bailey, I'm not her biggest fan. I'm sorry to say, all of the books that I've tried by this author have not worked for me. I've either not liked them or I've DNF'd them. So just because this is my list and my prediction, I'm not going to put it on there. I don't think she will make it on the top 20, and I wouldn't put it on a wish list because I haven't read it, but I also typically don't enjoy the writing style of this author, so I wouldn't want to have them nominated over the other books that we have on this list. Next up, we've got Wildfire by Hannah Grace. Now, Icebreaker by Hannah Grace was so popular that I highly suspect this one, even though it was released back in October, I think it might get nominated. So I'm just going to put it on here. How many books do I have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, I've got only one spot. And I've got a couple of books that I definitely think will make it on there. So let's see how that will go. Abby Jimenez, yours truly will definitely be on there. This is one of my top reads of the year, 5-star read. I loved Part of Your World and I love yours truly. And I really hope that she gets a lot of votes because it's a book that I would love to see win this thing, because Abby Jimenez definitely has built her popularity throughout her latest releases, and she definitely deserves recognition in my opinion. And yeah, it has great representation and it's just a perfect story in my opinion. So I would love to see this one make it to the top 10 as well and even win it. So now I've got 20 books and I'm kind of nervous because we've got 3 more books that I have that I didn't discuss. I'm just going to go through them to let you know what I think. And the first one is You with a View by Jessica Joyce. Now, this book wasn't really very popular, but in my opinion, it has exactly the picture perfect criteria to make it on the list. It has an illustrated cover. I think it was traditionally published. I think it has the type of setting that typically is very well loved by people who vote on the nominees. So I think, obviously, if I have to, let me just talk about the other 2 first. So Whispers of You is one of the books released by Catherine Cowles that was the most well received this year. It has the most ratings. It is, I believe, an indie published book, so I actually think it will not make it on the list because it's also the type of book that typically, I think it's spicy. It's more romantic suspense, so I don't think it's very much loved by the people who vote on here, sadly. So I think it will not make it. I hope it for her because she does this, or she has released so many books within 2 years' time that I just want to commend her for just working so hard on making her brand. And really a lot of her books follow the same formula and it just works. So that is something that needs to be recognized, I believe, but I don't think she will get nominated, sadly. And then we've got You Again. This book just recently released. It has a gorgeous cover, so again, it has the makings for it being nominated. And it was really well received, even though it doesn't have a lot of ratings. That's normal because it just recently released. So I think I'm going to take off The Love Game by Elena Armas because it just doesn't have, I think it has only 20,000 ratings and it has 3.71. So I'm going to take it off. I'm going to put in You with a View and You Again as a, even though I haven't read this book, I think that because it has a high chance of making it, I'm going to put it on the wish list because I do appreciate that this book is probably a book that I'm going to like. I actually think, do I have it in Storytel? I don't think I have it in Storytel, but it might be on KU. So I might be picking this up, probably not this year because I have a lot of things that I want to read before the end of the year. But I'm going to see if the mood strikes. I might pick it up just in case. But I think I have a feeling about it. I don't know how to say it, but I think that this is what I'm going to stick with here. So we've got Final Offer, Georgie All Along, Happy Place, Hello Stranger, King of Wrath, Love Theoretically, Meet Me at the Lake, Practice Makes Perfect, Powerless, Romantic Comedy, The Love Wager, The Right Move, The 7-Year Slip, Astrid Parker, Doesn't Fail or Fall, I'm not sure, The Temporary Wife, Christina Lawrence, The True Love Experiment, Things We Hide from the Light, Wildfire, Abby Jimenez is Yours Truly, and You with a View. I think this is a decent top 20, don't you think? I think this is a decent prediction, in my opinion. Now, the top 10 is going to be more difficult for me to predict, I'm going to be honest. Happy Place is 100% certain to be on there, Love Theoretically, and I think also King of Wrath. Those are books that I'm 100% certain will make it on there. Powerless, and I think romantic comedy might make it on there because it has a huge amount of ratings, even though I don't think it's supposed to be there. Um, Yours truly will definitely be in the top 10. We have 2, 4, 6. Now, I think The Right Move will make it on there because a lot of people will vote for that one. And then if we go off of popularity again, Meet Me at the Lake will make it, as well as The Final Offer. I just saw that it has quite a few ratings, actually 153,000 ratings. So definitely a contender. The True Love Experiment has 77,000 ratings. Oh, I forgot this one. Let me see. 2, 4, 6, 8. We've got 10. Ooh. I think this will be it. Even though the other ones are ones that I like more, like The 7-Year Slip, The True Love Experiment. I would have loved to see those in the top 10, but I don't think they will make it to the top 10 because these books are just so hyped up and well received that I don't see any change within this top 10. And then when we take a look at those top 10 books, obviously this is a popularity contest and we're going to go off of the most rated book. Emily Henry's Happy Place has 530,000 ratings, 500,000 ratings. I don't see anyone beating Happy Place because everyone read that book, and I wouldn't be mad, honestly. It would make me mad that she's winning 3 times almost in a row, but she also deserves it. She wrote an amazing book and it's very well received. That's 4.08 as a rating within 530,000 ratings. That is splendid and that is just fabulous, amazing. I don't know what kind of word to use, so it wouldn't be something that would make me mad. But at the same time, I said it last year as well, I'm just rooting for someone who is an underdog, someone who also put in so much effort and has built their name, like someone who is like Elsie Silver, Anna Huang, Ali Hazelwood. Ali Hazelwood has been everywhere. She has been going to book signings, even though she has a daytime job. She is writing, she's going to book signings. She's doing so much for her book empire or book career. And I would love for her to take it. And then again, Abby Jimenez, like I mentioned, and also Liz Dunford, The Right Move, even though there was some controversy going around about her writing characters who are people of color and herself not being a person of color. I understand that people were kind of ticked off by the whole thing, but at the same time, she just writes addictive stories. I absolutely love all 3 stories within this series, and I would highly recommend them to anyone who is looking for romantic books that I have been craving and haven't been finding very much in the past couple of years because steamy books have taken over. And I would love to see Liz Dunford, Elsie Silver, or Ali Hazelwood, or even Anna Huang take this, but I don't think they will. So it's difficult for me to say which one is my favorite out of these books. I think if I really have to go off of my gut feeling, The Right Move is my favorite out of these, although it's quite close with Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. So I'm really, really rooting for both of these. I've given 5 stars also to Love Theoretically, and I also really liked Powerless. It wasn't a 5-star read, but I would love to see Elsie win it. But again, I'm saying it's a popularity contest, so I think that Happy Place will take it. So please let me know your predictions. Did I do well in this ranking of, or not ranking, but predicting these books? Do you think any others will make it? Do you think that Emily Henry will win it? Do you have another favorite that you would like to see on there? and what is your wish list. Also, let me know anything that you would like to let me know about the Goodreads Choice Awards of this year. I'm very excited to see what will actually happen, how well I've done with my predictions, whether I would have picked the same, or whether they've picked the same predictions as I did. And yeah, I really enjoy doing these types of videos because it just makes me consider what is popular, what isn't popular. And also, I do have to say again here, we're hoping for more diversity. We're hoping for more of the voices that haven't been represented and well heard in the past. And this is quite a white list, and this is quite a disturbing picture because we want to see more of BIPOC authors represented on here. We want more own voices on here. And also, one thing that I have heard Lacey and Jess mentioning a lot in the past couple of years is that no historical romances ever get recognized on here. I don't typically read a lot of historical romances, but I do appreciate them, and I would love also to see them represented because a lot of readers absolutely love historical romances, so it would make sense to see them on there. So yeah, again, we have to do better, or actually they have to do better, because we as readers decide what we read, and I typically read a lot of what is hyped up, but I also tend to want to look up books that aren't very hyped, that are by diverse authors. And I actually am going to post a video because there was an incentive that started at SteamyLitCon in August, I think, where they have this hashtag of 23 BIPOC authors who have representation for BIPOC characters within their books within 2023. So trying to read 23 books within this year that have this representation and have these authors that can get recognized. And I actually think I read 23. So actually, I think I read more than 23. So I'm going to pick a couple that I'm going to show you so that I can get on the bandwagon of appreciating and showing and recommending these books, because it's important for us to show more love for more diverse authors, characters, situations, communities, so everyone gets their voice heard. So this got really philosophical in the end, I'm sorry, but yeah, this is what you can expect from me in a couple of weeks time, and I hope to see you very soon in the next one. Please leave a comment down below of the books that you would like to see and whether I did a good job, and please check out my other tier ranking video that I did a couple of weeks ago where I discussed superior book tropes. I'm going to link it up in the cards if you want to check it out. I hope to see you very soon in the next one. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Happy reading. Take care, and bye-bye.